The two then allegedly travelled together to Bondi where the attack unfolded. 15 innocent people were killed, multiple others wounded. In the aftermath, police reportedly located homemade IEDs and ISIS flags in their associated vehicles. After all of this, after years of indicators, public extremist behaviour, overseas travel, known associations, licensing anomalies and enforcement blind spots, the political response was not accountability, it was a question. Should we restrict guns further? That question is not merely insulting to law-abiding firearms owners. It's a deliberate misdirection, because the gun did not radicalise the individual. The firearm did not place him on a watch list. The rifle did not wave an ISIS flag. The shotgun did not chant any genocidal slogans. Those acts were carried out by a person whose trajectory should have been unmistakable to the very agencies tasked with preventing this exact outcome. This is where the government response moves from inadequate to appalling. Federal authorities have not clearly stated what was known, when it was known, or why no decisive action followed. Intelligence agencies invoke operational secrecy while demanding public trust. State governments announce the toughest gun reforms in a generation without explaining how those reforms would have stopped this attack, or why the existing system failed to respond to warning signs already present.
The National Gun Buyback Scheme is on top of the work that was agreed by National Cabinet on Monday, limiting the number of firearms to be held by any one individual, limiting open-ended firearms licensing and the types of guns that are legal.
The reality is uncomfortable but unavoidable. It is easier to regulate licensed, compliant citizens than it is to admit intelligence and governance failure, and corrosive to public confidence. So the blame is shifted, quietly, carefully and cynically. This is not a public safety policy. This is institutional self-preservation. And yet, amid the failure, something else emerged. Something Australia should never forget. In the middle of this chaos, terror and gunfire, ordinary Australians, first responders, displayed extraordinary courage. Before the police even arrived, the civilians attempted to intervene. Unarmed men and women moved towards the sound of gunfire, trying to distract, delay or stop the attackers. Some paid for that decision with their lives. Others were wounded. None hesitated. They weren't trained operators. They were fathers, sons, workers, surfers, mothers, people who saw evil unfolding and stepped forward anyway. When police made contact, they did so with a standard issue Glock 17 pistol, chambered in 9mm. It's not a rifle, not a specialist weapon, not military hardware. It's sidearms, against gunmen who'd already demonstrated lethal intent. Several police officers were shot in the initial engagement. 2 were critically wounded. They held their ground under fire. One detective, positioned at distance, delivered an exceptional display of marksmanship, neutralising both attackers from approximately 40 metres.